Diamond is not Crash. I mean, Diamond is Unbreakable. The fourth part to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure that was brought to Western fans' attention in the crudest way possible. Only for it to then get an anime that was viewed by millions of fans worldwide. What a beautiful adaptation. Shoo. This fourth part was able to take the newly introduced element of stands and give it a twist from the Monster of the Week formula, with now a serial killer in a small town where a group of teenagers... Wait a minute, this is Scooby-Doo! No, my mistake. Anyway, the teens were given superpowers to defeat foes, and by making friends along the way... Wait a minute, this is Persona 4! No, my mistake. This is Ed, Edd and Eddy! Okay, maybe not really. Now, the first thing to note is that this part wasn't the easiest to get into for manga fans, as at the time it came out, a very rushed translation existed, made by a fan in just 1 month. And as such, the nature of said translation led to many memes. Now, despite the translation being completed in just 1 month for a school project, it somehow was used as the only translated scan of Part 4 at the time. And as such, you get some notable phrases that the fans still use today. Some of these include, "Get a feeling so complicated," "I feel you deeply," "I am the effing strong," and "I had a boner." But the most popular and well-known one is from Kira looking upon the town while eating his lunch. What a beautiful duang. Chew. And so if any of the manga-only readers approach you, the anime-only viewer, just whip out the old Chew line, and they will back off because, yes, they get that JoJo reference. And wait, Koichi, what are you doing? Man, he really steals. It's like he has no dignity or something. Now, continuing from Duang, you had the line Koichi really steals? No dignity. Showing off just what an absolute mad lad he is. And the only reason I put this here is because thanks to JoJo Part 4 anime, he really became a meme on his own amongst the fans. I mean, just look at this sick pose he pulls in the openings. Granted, he didn't have a stand at the time, but that didn't stop fans memeing this to Duang and back, as Koichi really has no dignity. And as such, and firstly, before I get into the Duang memes, we must address this issue that Part 4 might have not gotten an anime adaptation in the first place. I mean, it obviously would in due time. But at the end of Part 3, there was no teaser for Part 4, unlike at the end of Part 2 for Stardust Crusaders. And as such, fans who came in with the hype of Part 3 were outraged that a Japanese company would dare take a break on their beloved series and work on this instead. This reminds me of the time a certain YouTuber left out Part 4 in a fandom video to showcase this reaction from fans in a future Part 4 fandom video. Anyway, fans' anger rose since they couldn't wait. The memes steadily grew. But then on October 24th, 2015, the anime adaptation was announced and a huge number of memes were made, praising them for doing the thing which everyone knew they would do eventually. And even though it aired on April 1st, fans were treated to a great adaptation of the crazy noise bizarre town. And finally, now to talk about the Duang memes. Wait a minute! Now, since the anime was simulcast around the world, and with the internet growing larger each year, Part 4 was watched by more fans at the same time. And as with any other airing show, you get memes on every little thing that would happen in each episode. But let's quickly go over a few of them. You have Joseph Joestar going back on his hatred of the Japanese by having an illegitimate child. And as such, Josuke having no real father figure until that man in the snow. You have the arrows that gave everyone stand abilities, and then memes on every single one of them, including some tasty Italian spaghetti, and many other smaller memes that we don't really have time to cover in this. I mean, it is an in a nutshell video for a reason, but of course, as with any airing show, you would have the exploitables. Images cropped out for other fans to share with their own edits. You have the no dignity yandere girlfriend, Hira looking shocked at something that isn't hand related, and of course, Mr. Dolphin continuing the trend of looking at Polaroid pictures, but this time, absolutely despising it. And I guess in a similar manner, Josuke finding out that a piece of paper is the most deadliest of weapons. Kira, will you keep quiet? Now since Rohan could pull off these sick dance moves, he became a favorite character for a ton of fans. Well, not because of that, but more to do with his, unique personality. I mean, he licks a spider, for goodness sake. Fans love to meme him in nearly everything that he does, from his facial expressions, his voice lines,
Oi, 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 oi.
his dance moves, and his stand, Heaven's Door. But of course, one of the most popular lines from him, both here and in Japan, was his response if he would betray Josuke. But one thing he didn't refuse to do was appear in those OVAs, which angered fans once again, since apparently working on them meant that Part 5 would never get confirmed. But I'm sure the OVAs are perfectly fine and... So you have a show that was aired nearly every single week for almost a year. It's gonna put a lot of strain on the animators, and as such, you're gonna get a lot of quality in some of the episodes. Now, JoJo was no stranger to this, but Part 4 was notorious with it. In fact, fans even made a site detailing the changes the Blu-ray made to fix up all of the quality. But hey, at least all of the quality images still look better than Josuke's hair. Wait for it.
You're a very special boy.
Damn, she's hot!
In that case, why don't you take a one-way trip to hell, douchebag?
Now, as with any fandom, you get ships, and Part 4 to JoJo was no exception. You got the usual shipping one character with another. But some of the more popular ones include Rohan with Raimi, and Koichi with the yandere girl because, I mean, come on, it's canon. And then you have the gay ships. And unsurprisingly, you have a big battle between the big two. However, this one is fought between regions, as Western fans like shipping Josuke with his friend, but in Japan they really prefer Josuke and Rohan. And that's fine, those two can do battle with each other in the background. The problem occurs when you ship this with this. Yes, that's right, Kira. We are kink-shaming you. Yes, Diamond is unbreakable, or in other words, let's kink-shame Kira, because he's the serial killer that really likes people's hands, and Kira by himself became a popular character amongst the fandom. I mean, he dresses extremely well, looks like David Bowie, and all he wants is to enjoy killing people for their hair. I mean, just enjoy the quiet life. But as the main villain of Part 4, fans obviously love to meme him. And the first one is that his stand, Sheer Heart Attack, has no weaknesses. Oh, you son of a bitch. But that's not all to his stand, as you better watch out if Kira walks into a room, because he may or may not have touched that doorknob. Okay, so a lot of him revolves around explosions. Maybe it's the pyromaniac in all of us. Or maybe it's because the whole mystery and build up to Kira was really well done, provided you weren't spoiled by YouTube. And now fans created tons of memes around him, including his furless cat stand, its many terrifying abilities, and how the ambulance was the main protagonist of Part 4. Now, despite the amount of good the anime was able to do for Part 4, since it took quite a while for it to air after Part 3, fans were restless. They read the manga and played the video game, because the games actually showcased the whole JoJo franchise and not just what was animated. And as such, the characters didn't really have any voices until the games, who were then replaced in the anime. And at the time, this actually annoyed quite a few fans when it was announced, as many of them were just used to the game voices. But I think I can speak for everyone when I say that the anime was still extremely well cast. But that wasn't the only change from the anime, as lo and behold, the creator is a huge music fan, as evident from him naming stands after music bands. And as such, that might run into copyright infringement issues when you subtitle the names of big bands in your worldwide release. Which is why then Crunchyroll decided in their official subs to replace most of the stands with off-brand names like the ones you find in those budget supermarkets. You got Shining Diamond, Reverb, Worst Company, Pole Jam, and Deadly Queen. And I know it's for copyright, but it still was pretty amusing seeing the text different to what the voice actors were saying each episode. But as with any changes, this angered fans who were not quite familiar with copyright law. And maybe all of the comments that fans left on Crunchyroll's forums led them to exclude JoJo from most nominations in the Anime Awards that year. And why Kira somehow didn't win Villain of the Year, which in turn then angered even more fans. Oh, that was a great cycle of events. And there was still one more notable annoyance from fans, which was now the openings were not done in the usual 3D art style, but in 2D. I mean, seriously, how could you do this to us, David Productions? Betray tradition and— oh, it's actually really good and the OP changes were quite clever. Well, okay, fine, we'll make a meme from it. And that meme was those musical ones, you know, the ones that don't have any staying power after a few years. It was the OP Great Days, but instead something else changed. Great. Just great.
ゲーレートですよ、こいつは。
Oh. And finally, the YouTube fans, who rushed to any JoJo video to comment with the series catchphrases, but this time relating to part 4, like Kira's stand abilities, or just one of the many Duang catchphrases. And as for the videos, well, as usual with JoJo, you have the memes, oh, and did I forget one? Ah, yes, the memes. Mixed in with those are the animations, great analysis, and people memeing about the low quality. And also some memes. Because remember, in any video, including this one, that talks about JoJo memes, is a JoJo reference. Holy moly, is that— And that was all I could fit into this very short video about the Diamond is Unbreakable fandom. One that exploded from the previous parts, and was able to grow even further thanks to the anime simulcast. Now, with the anime's great story, the fans were able to enjoy this part to its fullest and help it gain popularity with memes. It's always memes with JoJo. I rate this fandom,
キラークイーンはすでにドアノブに触っている。
out of 10. And as to the fandom's future, well, part 4 is now officially over, so next they will animate part 5. Okay, finally, part 4 is now over, and so all the fans look to the future in anticipation for the announcement of part 5's anime. I'm sure it will be revealed in a timely manner and that David Productions will not animate anything else in the meantime. Right? Right? Get away from me. Kira, what do you think on this? And that was all I could fit into this very short video about the Diamond is Not Crash fandom. I rate this fandom,
ゲーレートですよ、こいつは。
out of 10.
やったぞ、発動したぞ。
Chew.